There's a new match engine for FM24 out there, and it's getting rave reviews.
Slide tackle with such expertise.
So if you're upset about Sports Interactive's lack of updates on FM25, never fear. There still is a new toy for you to play with. Well, sadly, there's still no information about Football Manager 25, and as you guys know, I'm still kind of skeptical that it's even coming out. But at least this is something, and honestly, it's pretty good. The work here was done by a poster named Hongqi Shi Sakura on a Chinese forum, which is called Baopeng Xiaozu, in early January. Now, this poster used a hex editor called HXD to edit FM24's physics engine. And after a few weeks, his work was uploaded onto FM Arena for the community to enjoy. Now, the interesting thing is that this isn't the first time that we've seen something like this happen. And last time, Sports Interactive was absolutely livid. Actually, back in those days, the process was a little bit easier, and the results were praised throughout the community. The people sharing this, though, probably went a little over the top, saying that there was no need to buy FM21 anymore. In fact, you can still find links to this on a bunch of Football Manager websites, although, as I recall, Sports Interactive made no secret of how upset it was that this even came out. You know, it's kind of interesting to go back and look at all the old message board threads that came out in late 2020 about the new improved match engine. It really caused a major stir back then. In fact, there were a lot of people who were skeptical about whether the new game, FM21, which was just around the corner, could even compete with the improved old one. And I'm wondering if this new match engine will elicit a similar response in the community. What you'll notice here is that the players seem a little bit faster and the passes seem a little bit crisper.
Just plotting a route round their opponents. Promising build-up. Frantic looking ball that. Gets in pretty promptly. Surely mustn't continue. It's intense this. Wouldn't be beaten. Showed terrific spirit.
In general, people commenting on this physics engine have said that the player movements and ball movements seem to be a little more natural and realistic. In particular, players have noticed that the ball seems a little bit more lively, that it doesn't stick to players as much as the default game engine. Personally, though, what I've been impressed by are the goals. Now, some of these goals likely have little to do with the match engine. Some of them, however, look beautiful and look really refreshing when compared to the way FM24 plays by default. I also noticed a number of excellent defensive stands while I was playing.
Lovely close control. Going at it toe to toe. Maximize the chance.
And overall, I think it looks more realistic.
Well played. Slide tackle with such expertise.
But of course, what do you think?
Did well. Well seen.
Now, the really cool thing about this is that you can mess around with all of this if you want by yourself. Well, in theory, that is. See, every copy of Football Manager comes with what is called a resource archiver. This is basically a file compression program that has a graphical interface for some strange reason. You can extract files from archives, create archives, browse current archives, and extract files from current archives that you're browsing. So this resource archiver, it's basically like 7Z or WinRAR, programs like that, except this is designed exclusively for Football Manager and has basically no functionality. It turns out that most of Football Manager's data comes in the FMF file format, which is the file format that Resource Archiver works with. In this particular case, our Chinese friend edited this file, simatch.fmf. Now, if you extract that file using the Resource Archiver, you'll get a bunch of files in a folder that looks like this one. The modder then went to the physics folder. And in that folder, he modified the physical constraints.jsb file using a hexadecimal editor. Well, like I said, this is probably not something that you're going to be able to figure out in a few minutes. And, you know, the reason why they made this so hard to change is because of that Korean mod for FM20. Well, back in those days, Sports Interactive saved all of this information in JSON files, which are a lot easier to understand and edit. In fact, you didn't even have to use the Resource Archiver to get at them. And you can see how easy it is in these posts after the community at large started to help edit the match engine together. Well, I don't know if we're going to have the same response from the community this time around. Now, since this was originally posted on an obscure Chinese language forum, it might take a little while for the great minds in the community to come around to it, but, we'll see. Now, there are a few things that I should point out here. For instance, as the original poster says in this post that I've left untranslated, the 3D match engine still doesn't look quite perfect, but you probably won't notice the issues if you play in one of the condensed highlight modes like most of us do. Additionally, he notes that these changes will only apply to matches that your team plays in. Now, that last part is really interesting to me. There's been a debate for years over whether instantly played matches in Football Manager use a different match engine than the games that you actually play out. Honestly, this little bit right here might prove that there actually is a difference. Well, at any rate, give the new match engine a try.
The intended target there, promptly into the space, right in the thick of the action. And that will come to nothing.
If nothing else, it might help you forget about how angry you are with Sports Interactive.
And look to build on that. Good position here. It's hit the upright.